Hey Moon Muffins. In today's episode, I wanted to talk to you about gratitude and in the spiritual community, paradigm shifting, the law of attraction, what the hell do I do in order to make this work? Because there is a lot of information these days on law of attraction, the secret, blah, 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 blah. And I really did like The Secret when it first came out about 10 years ago, but there's so many missing pieces that were strategically left out, in my opinion, to give people this false sense of hope that all they have to do is wishful thinking and they'll manifest their vibes and their dream life. Bitch, no, you won't. You have to put in the work, the equivalent of exchange. If you want a business to be successful, you got to put in the work. If you want your health to be super duper, you got to put in the work. What you have to do, though, is have a state of gratitude as to why you want those things. I know that sounds stupid. You're like, bitch, what the fuck are you even saying? Hear me out. If you want to be in a state of receiving, you have to give. And you have to give wholeheartedly, whether that's to yourself or to your family or to something. There has to be some sort of energetic exchange. You can't just sit on your pedestal and consume, and take, and then complain that you don't have the car that you need, or you don't have the, finances in your bank account, or you don't have this sort of lifestyle. And then we get stuck in that mindset, and then we start feeling sorry for ourselves, and then it creates energetic blockages. I am actually working with somebody one-on-one to get rid of those blockages, because I can feel and read energy very well, and I can tell when something's not working for somebody. But that doesn't mean that I would ever do that, like to exploit people, and I can figure out their problems. It's a lot of energy work, it's a lot of divination, it's a lot of shadow work, it's a lot. But we learn these things in early childhood, especially if you are raised by people who are in survival mode. And I think it's safe to say that most of the world has been in survival mode for a very long time. So, and I'm not here to start dissecting everybody's problems and stuff, but it is very hard when you're in a state of survival mode, a state of fight or flight, a state of getting angry at everything going on around you because everything's collapsing. And this is even like before all of this started going really goofy, right? You have to think about the things that you're grateful for. And don't watch these fucking staged, stupid videos where these bitches are like, I get a lemon from my tree every morning and I fucking meditate on it and I'm so thankful for my blessings and my vibes. It's like, bitch, shut the fuck up. You know damn well you're crying in the fucking kitchen like the rest of us. And the thing is I see these things not to be negative, like, oh, how sour of you, how it's not. It's fake, because real happiness is contentment. You don't need to strive to be freaking euphoric and happy and everything needs to be perfect all the time. It needs to be super duper aesthetic. What you need to do is strive for contentment. And when we strive for contentment, that level, you have peace, you have focus, you have clarity. And then you can think, what am I grateful for? For real. It's cold here. It's like 8 degrees, 9 degrees Celsius outside. I'm freaking super grateful I got a heated house. I have 4 beautiful kids that are really great, and I know everybody thinks that about their kids. I get along with my 2 eldest so well, but not like in an unhealthy way where I'm like, all up in their freaking cake mix, taking up all their oxygen. Like, no, my kids like to hang out with me. I feel really grateful for that. And not like, I'm a cool mom. Like, shut up. I'm really grateful for that. I have a husband that's super supportive of me just being myself, which is like, I'm trying to still adjust to it after like 7.5 years of it. I have a lot to be grateful for. Shit's always seemed to work out for me. A lot of us have gone through a lot and we've overcome it. We don't give ourselves enough credit. Or if we do, we hold on to it and we feel entitled to start dictating everything. Moms know. But when you really start to clear your head, you'll start to focus on those little things that you're grateful for. And the thing is, you'll feel it. And when you want to achieve something, you'll be hungry for it. Like, I'm being serious. This podcast, I know it's super small still. I've been wanting to podcast for 3 years now, and it just was not the time. This is the divine timing. Because I didn't even know I was going to do it this way. And I feel grateful. So I'm hungry for it. So I woke up at 4:30 in the morning. And usually I do. And I'm like, oh, I'll just go back to bed. No, I'm up. Get up, brush your teeth, shower, do some little meditation, stretch, get into the office before everybody wakes up, because the reason why I don't post as consistently as I would like to is because I have a lot of responsibilities, and my family is so supportive. I have a high needs child, a special needs child, and it's very, very taxing at times. And I have a toddler, I have a 3-year-old and a 4-year-old. One's on the spectrum and one's like a mini-me. So of course it's very stressful, but I stop what I'm doing when I'm editing and all this stuff, right, to spend time with them. And I know this is going to sound silly, but I have it so made. I might not have the income that I want from the output that I'm putting, because these systems are really, really corrupt. These digital systems, social media is all owned. We know that by now. But I still get up because I'm hungry. I'm not hungry for the fame or the bull. I don't even want that. I really just want to do what I like to do, and I wish I can just not have to be known at all. Like, I'm known on a very, very small scale, but I don't know why. It bothers me, but it doesn't. But I'm grateful. I think because people got in my head, and I'm still recovering from that. But I'm grateful, and I come into this office that my family, like, gave me. Of course I'm going to fucking put some output. And I talk to other people. I don't come in here with this head, oh, I've got to go do this. If you get forward thinking with all your stress and goals, it's not going to work. You're going to burn yourself out. But when you calm the fuck down and just chill for a minute, you allow space. You allow your head to, even though those of us who have ADHD, and first of all, I am so sorry if people feel debilitated with ADHD, but honestly, honey, just get a fucking journal and set an alarm on your phone, and you can do anything. Like, I have journals for everything, and I set alarms for things that I need to remind, and I'm able to function just fine. You have to take some time, a little bit each week, to organize what you want to accomplish, right? I'm going to talk about that for a second, because that has helped me feel so powerful in my own silence that people can't come for me, because I put in so much work quietly that it doesn't make me feel bad. Like, if the same people who didn't want me to content create were freaking out now, I wake up fucking really early every day. I get my shit done. I get my goals knocked out, and I can take care of my family. I can't do it by myself, and it's not easy. But because I have goals for myself and gratitude, and because, like, for me, my workout routine these days, it's all about this. Everybody, well, how are you doing that? And it's not about the looks. It's not anything about that. I wake up because I need to mentally feel good, and I have a lot of battles for my day. I want to talk to you about this. This isn't like traumadumping.com. This is like, I really want to get people, paint a picture for shit that I was goofing up, because there's a lot of people that need help, and there's a lot of you that are really isolated like I am. My husband and I talk about it every video. Bitch, we're all by ourselves. It's not even about me. It's about knowing that other people are like that. It's something's wrong. We know that. But here's the thing. Nobody can step on my power, because I set routines for myself. I do things for my family with love. I put effort in myself, and I put discipline into myself. And it's been very hard, because discipline's very hard. But I wake up when I don't want to, and I feel rested because I'm hungry for this. And I have gratitude that I have a platform with just a handful of people that want to listen to whatever the fuck I have to say, because I'm not easy to be around. Because I'm always the friend that's telling it how it is, but not like loaded. You know, there's always that one fucking bitch that's like, oh, you know what your problem is? It's like, bitch, cállate. Go and tell me your problems quietly, because nobody wants to hear it. I'm serious. That means shut up. It's serious. I'm not saying that. But you try to be the oracle in everybody's life, and you gas out, but you have to draw it in. I've been talking about this every video. I made a video about anger. So now we're talking about gratitude, because we have to go through these seasons of feelings and these seasons of paradigm shifting, and we have to figure out what's working and what's not. But because we're in a system that blinds us of that and makes us feel hopeless and makes us feel like there's nothing out there, there's nothing more than this, we just like are born and die for a glorified oil company. That doesn't sound right to me. That doesn't sound like it doesn't make any sense. And it kind of does and it doesn't. That's the beauty of it too, is it kind of doesn't need to. The thing is when you start to disconnect from all this other stuff in the world, things that we think we want because of marketing. I'll tell you one thing. I'll give you a couple tips of things I've done too, because I've been in a very positive mindset with money and mindset of making money. And I've done it. I've done this before. And then I had lots of tower moments that I couldn't ride out, and then things went crazy. So life happens, but I see it as temporary. I see it, I've done it before. I'm going to get back up and do it again because I know how to do it. So, and then life will keep on having, you have tons of these small tower moments, right? You have to learn how to pivot them. You don't need to be fakely grateful. Like, I'm so grateful for this opportunity. Now that my car just blew up in front of me because now I can get a Maserati. It's like, shut up. No one thinks like that. You have to give space for the frustration and then release it and think about, okay, is this opening a new door for me? And if so, let me meditate on it, if it's worth my energy, and clear my head on it. Because if you keep stressing and stressing and stressing and stressing, it's not going to be in fruition. And here's another thing. I went through this not too long ago. My husband's phone's breaking down. His computer broke, his phone's breaking down. And he's going through a big transition right now. And he's understanding and he's really like working through it. But then I told him, I have two phones. One's like got 30 gig in it. Don't get it twisted. My old phone, I couldn't record on it. And a lot of HD cameras these days are like really obsolete, or they're really, really expensive in Australia. So I needed a phone. And I got a lovely new phone so I can do filming on, that I use it just for that, for Christmas. And I was really grateful for that. Oh, or Yule. Everybody calls it Christmas. Just we can not accept it, but let's not pretend we don't, okay? So anyways, it's so not important, but I feel like a sense of gratitude, right? And when my husband's phone was breaking down, I told him, hey, you're more than welcome to take mine, or the kids have their old phones, because they just got new phones. And their old phones were still in pretty decent nick, but they needed new phones because they're animators. So you have options. And my husband's like, oh, I'll just wait until I can, and because I have to manually do that. I'm like, then you're not hungry. I told him very kindly, don't be loaded about that with people, but I told him, well, think about this. You have options right now to not have to be frustrated. He dropped his phone and it keeps falling. He had a hole in his pocket and it fell out, and it just like is so on its last limb, and it just keeps going and going. Things keep happening. And I tell him, because you are not willing to put in the work to manually transfer things over to an old phone because you want to do it because the same phone is digital, it's easier, and you're not going to be able to do that for a few months. You have to really evaluate, is this phone that barely works worth it? Or am I hungry enough to give space to something better so it can get me in the mindset of something that I really, really do desire? We're not big on phones, by the way. It's just all of ours are like headed on the way out. And planned obsolescence, though, and that can make things very difficult to be in a state of gratitude, because like we bought a washer and dryer a few years ago. Mind you, we do have a family of 6, and I have 2 teenagers that train twice a day, and they have uniforms, and I have kids, and we go outside, and I work out, my husband works, all of this stuff, right? We got laundry. That's my point. But I noticed that the old washer and dryer my husband had lasted like 20 years, and he used it every day. Mind you, we use it more now, but this one we bought like not even 5 years ago, and it conks out every year, and he fixes it. He's so like great at that stuff, but it's not what was needed before. Something from the 1950s still lasts. Like, a lot of people collect old appliances because they were just built to last. They were built to last longer than us. These days they're not, because it's not profitable. So that's one thing when I'm talking about phones. I just think it's clear that I don't have this capitalistic mindset, like, oh, I need a new phone because the new iPhone came out. It's like, I don't care. I don't want to care. All I care about is I want to do my content, and I really, really acquired a phone. So instead of me feeling like I needed it, because I was getting pissed with this one, TikTok was doing really well for me. I'm making money. I'm doing tutorials with 30 freaking gigs of space because my phone only had 64 gigs. And in the course of the past 3.5 years, half of it's gone to iOS updates. And people that have worked for Apple that are out of the 10-year contract, for working for the company, have said that it's a purposefully done thing to push you out so you can buy a new phone. So my point in this, rambling on about a phone, but I like school and people like teaching you about the world too if you don't know, because we don't know. We don't know. It's hard to stay grateful when everything is just falling apart and people are stupid and blind to it. So But you have to make space. My point with my husband is his phone's really cracked and falling apart and all this other stuff. And he really, really likes his phone for work. He listens to a lot of motivational stuff and spiritual things and different, things that are helping him. And he doesn't have that same connection to his phone. All of us have gone through it where we're just like, oh, gotta check our phone, gotta check our phone, gotta check our phone. Like, now that I don't have a social life, I don't check my phone. I really don't. I am so happy about that my phone time, my screen time, if I'm not editing or filming like tutorials on my phone, is very low because I'm more productive. I think that's important. And that helps me get out of this headspace, because if you're on social media, you're going to see so much negativity, even if your feed is a lot of positive stuff. Like, I like to go on TikTok a couple times a week, and I like to see gardening videos from my friends that are in the cult and witchcraft community, their shops that they're opening. I'm super hyped for people. And, just fun things, fun tutorials, fun nature things and foraging and stuff is like stuff I'm into. And then just like motivational stuff and Muay Thai stuff is like really my vibe. But anyways, then you get people complaining about stuff. Then you get news, and then you get this, which is important to hear people's opinions on life, and it's important to hear the news if the source is trustworthy. And the only news I trust these days is like Russell Brand, which I recommend checking out if you're into spiritual stuff. Well, duh, you're here. And also State of the World stuff, because he's actually not biased about stuff. He's pretty reasonable. And I like listening to him in the morning when I'm doing my notes for all this. But I give myself purpose because this world's not going to allow purpose for you to come easy. We're in a systematic state where we believe that we have to be mentally broken, physically broken, completely financially broken in order to be successful. There is a truth to that because it allows evolvement, but it's not it. That's not what we need to be doing. Like, in nature, we should be working like 4 to 5 hours a day of hard work, but then we get rewarded by, we enjoy the tasks that we do, making things. Those of you who are also witches, you like to make stuff. I will spend, if I have nothing to do, I have a hole puncher that's a star shape, and I hole punch onion peels for protection, so I can make some protection trinkets and charms and stuff like that. I wanted to make some oil as well. So I just sit there and do things like that, and it brings me joy. And I have like hundreds of jars full of stuff all around the house. I've got 4 apothecaries right now, and they're going really strong. And it's just because I save little by little, and I garden, and I have a friend that gives me stuff, and little by little you build your beautiful empire. And you don't have to have it all done overnight. You just have to focus on one task. But because we're so addicted to dopamine, and our attention spans are that of a fucking goldfish these days, because we can't even watch a 10-minute tutorial. People want to learn witchcraft in 15 seconds. And they get all of their information from TikTok. And then they start asking questions. Isn't that this? This is. It's like, where did you get that information? Oh, I had this happen today. I have to say it. I posted, there's like an AI app I was having fun with. And I posted the statue of Lilith. I have a photo of her that people think is Lamashtu and Inanna and everything like that. And, people got that information, a lot of it. There's theories, I understand that. But people are convinced it's not Lilith because of TikTok. So that's all they'll do. So somebody was like, oh, isn't that Inanna? And I was like, where'd you get that information from? Just kind of curious. And she was like, oh, lots of books and this and this and this. And I'm like, which ones? You know what I mean? I'm just kind of curious. Which books did you read that were like that? Because I would like to see. And part of it is a bit loaded and challenged, but it's like 90% like, well, which book is it? Because if I'm ignorant about something, I really want to see. But people are more afraid. They're more concerned about being right than they are with learning information, because they don't go to your channel to learn. They go to your channel to learn what resonates with them. And when I say what resonates, not what resonates and hits you hard like, bitch, I needed to hear that. I mean, oh, this looks easy. And that's what they want. And then when they hear somebody else that they like totally kiss ass up to, and they give something that might be misinformation, oh, isn't that right? It's like, have you even been practicing this? Or are you getting all of your information off of a freaking app that allows like 15-second to 3-minute videos? So it's hard to stay in that state of gratitude if we have things like social media around, or if you're arguing with people, or people are challenging. So you got to disconnect from that sort of stuff. I disconnect from people who leave those sorts of loaded comments. but I also like to educate people. I like to educate them and people around them sometimes. When you get, like, holy rollers, sometimes it's not worth your energy, but if they seem like they're still young enough to kind of open their eyes, you can just plant a seed there. It's not to persuade people, but most 20-year-olds who go to your channel going, Jesus loves you, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They know nothing about Jesus Christ other than what he can do for them. And that is a huge problem with not only the religious communities, but with these the marketing toward, like, the law of attraction. Like I said, The Secret was cool. I like Bob Proctor. There's a couple other, Abraham Hicks, I'm like 50-50 on. There's some people that have really good information, but they market and hyper-focus so much on the money, and there is truth to what they say, but it's also hard to believe people who are profiting off of teaching people how to make money. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm going to teach people how to make money, I don't think that, or here's a better thing. If I want to learn how to make money, I'm not going to pay $200 to go to a seminar and feel like a fucking dickhead. I'm not doing it. To me, that $200 can be invested into something else. Well, it's invested into knowledge. Fuck off. There's other ways to learn that. That's my issue with it. So I personally don't support that, but that's a personal opinion. That's not, Amber's right and you guys should agree. That's me and my ego. But in order to get yourself in the state of gratitude, try to disconnect from the stress and learn from the world. I have to see things that's going on in the world because, first of all, my visa is pending because of all of this. My kids and I can get deported and have to go back to America. And in all honesty, outside of, like, certain things, I don't want to go back. Why the hell would I want to go back right now with how things are? When, you know what I mean? Like, I can't see that. So instead of me for years been ping-ponging what's better, what's worse, what's better, what's worse, now I have a solid foundation of what I would really like, and that's what we're going for. Because unless the universe has other plans, I would like to just stay grounded. So I feel gratitude because I've had a lot of peace here in Australia. It's not perfect here, but it is not America here. And I recommend anybody who's American to try to move abroad once in your life. It's going to be the best and worst decision you've ever made. Sorry, my hair, I have like baby hair, and they always get stuck in my ears and start itching. It's like, but anyways, I recommend moving overseas if you can. Like, I'm not sure where, because everywhere's just a bit wild right now, but America is so noisy and so stressful. It's completely different everywhere else. Like, when I first moved here, people, first of all, I'm going to backtrack, and this is going to kind of tie in with gratitude because I really, really was freaked out when I first got here. People treat things like healthcare like it's a human right, right? People like a slower life here. It's still capitalistic. It's still, Big Brother America, we need that. It's 50-50, I would say, because some people are really wanting like Black Friday and this and that, and then other people are like, we don't want anything, including like denim jeans from America. And I understand that there's a love and a hate toward America here. I don't get like discriminated against for it. I just can't stand when people start bringing up politics all the time. It's like, oh, for fuck's sakes, American politics is like everywhere, and it's annoying. It's super annoying, but it's not prominent here like it is in the US. Thank fuck, because I cannot stand it. It's propaganda everywhere you go. Every freaking place you go to the doctor's office, the news is right there. You go to the grocery store, you listen to the same songs, and all of these corporations are owned by the same firms. The two firms you got to look into, Vanguard and BlackRock, they own everything, including each other, because the same shareholders own 49% of the other company. That's how that works. Just like Bill Gates owns 49% of Apple. So for people who are like, fuck that, I'm going to buy Apple, this is how they lock everything in. It isn't a monopoly. They just have a better way of showing it. They give you the illusion of options. George Carlin said that in one of his stand-up. You think you have options because you have 31 fucking ice cream flavors. In reality, we don't have rights. But we have to pivot that. Instead of having this false, shallow thing of like, oh, wow, we got 31 flavors. That's a haze, sweetheart. We're in a haze. That shit is so accessible outside of the system. It's easy to make ice cream. We don't want to because we're broken down and we're too exhausted. We're mentally fucked. And people who go, well, you're lazy. You work a desk job. I've worked as a data scrubber once in my life, sitting at a desk. I could never sit at a fucking desk again. I would rather work in kitchens with a bunch of ex-convicts all day long, 15 hours straight, getting yelled at by Karens and getting yelled at by fucking disconnected servers that don't know what the fuck it's like to be in 114 degrees Fahrenheit heat and fucking do all this work and they go, oh, you got it easy. I'd rather do that than sit at a desk. I felt more physically and mentally just broken down sitting at a fucking desk, and I was at home. I got to work from home. But I was doing somebody a solid and helping out with the company, and I fucking hated it. I really, that was my first job that I had at a desk. I'm not cut for it. So anybody who says that people who sit at a desk all day are just not motivated, it's bullshit. I felt worse doing that than working in a busted ass, environment. Like the kitchens I worked in weren't busted, but like I'm just saying the system's busted. You come home feeling busted. You're just like soaking wet, doing cleaning all night, and your patas hurt, and your back hurts, and your head hurts, and you're starving, and you're dehydrated. It sucks. I'd rather do that than work at a fucking desk job, because that shit just seems like it just siphons every ounce of spirit in human beings. So I don't think at all that people who have to sit at a desk for work in a fucking cubicle are lazy. I think that they're completely just brain dead because of this. They have to have a job because we have to pay bills. So have empathy, motherfuckers. Fuck. Like, we have to, I'm not calling you a motherfucker, by the way. I'm just saying, in general, people are just stupid. They think, well, it's boomer shit. I said everything and nothing in that sentence, and I hope people understand what I meant. But anyways, thinking about things that I'm grateful for without trying to sound like a goofball, because that makes it worse. My husband and I talk. He's like, oh, sit there and list everything. I'm like, I know, but do it. Give yourself some space. Get a little in touch with yourself. Go, fuck, man, I do have it. Like, I always liked seeing that sort of stuff in people, and they stop for a minute and they're like, man, I do have it good. I have a few individuals that I looked up to into my life that would do that at times and get a little philosophical and get a little emotional and stuff and be like, man, I got it really good. I've had a hard life, but I've got this. When you really stop to appreciate, you let go of the haze in the system. Like, who cares about your phone? Who the fuck cares? If, like seriously, I feel like I refuse to feel drowned by the system anymore. Because it's really, really difficult. I know I talk about it all the time. Every episode is like the same conversation. But right now, the harder that we work, the harder that they're working. Everything's going up. No matter, you're just chasing. It's like my husband says, it's all stick and no carrot. You have to say, hey, this is the situation right now. But we have to find our own peace and our own heaven and our own safe haven, and we make our own world. That's why I do everything I do with gardening, and I have tons of plants all over the house, and I give purpose and I give meaning for my family, and it helps keep us healthy and mentally healthy and motivated, and like we're working and busting our goals out, and we have energy to kind of come, wake up at 4 a.m. and get shit done. Because I know I can rest with my kids when things are fine. Motherhood is very stressful, and being a stay-at-home parent is extremely hard, and I don't care what anybody says. Any person who thinks that, oh, my wife, shut up. You're not home all day when you're seeing her break down and cry because your kids are screaming in her ear all day, and she's got to wake up in the middle of the night, and there's a lot of partners that don't help. I don't have to deal with that, and I've never had to deal with that, so I want to make that clear. I'm not trying to, give any undertones. I just cannot stand that. But at the same time, I do have it easier because if the kids, the babies are being good, I can just take a little cat nap with them, or I can half doze and watch some cartoons. If I really want to. I do spend time with them. I stop what I'm doing to spend time with them if I'm working on my stuff, unless I have some designated time, which is healthy, right? Okay, Mama's going to have an hour and a half, blah, 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 whatever. You're going to be with Dad or something. They usually leave me alone anyways, because Daddy's home. He's like the star of the show. That's how it goes. But even for things like that, I feel so grateful for. I feel gratitude. It's like, wow, I have a really beautiful, supportive family. And instead of me complaining about, and I'm not trying to go on and on and on, it's just like, instead of me complaining about the system and the bills and stressing and, groceries are freaking brutally expensive, it's to the point where we're just becoming very broken down and numb. I don't like ordering groceries anymore. I don't like shopping like I used to. I'm so jaded because, unbearably expensive. Like lunch meat, turkey, it's $30 a kilo to buy lunch meat. That's like a little over 2 pounds, I think. $30 for turkey's not big here, but the turkey and ham, like the sliced deli meat, $30 to $40 a kilo here. Who the fuck can afford that? So, like, things, that's where we are. And we make a lot of stuff. I do freaking everything. So does my husband. We're both trained. But we're still like, we're frustrated because he works so hard and I work so hard at home, and he comes and helps me on days I'm just super slammed. It gets crazy here. It does, but we go through it. Like, let's go, man. The wave is high. Let's fucking ride it, because like yesterday was wild. I didn't get to post my video on anger. I was supposed to on Friday, but I was really, really busy. So it's Monday here in Australia right now. So if I said see you next week in that last video, I meant today. So I apologize. But that gives me an opportunity, instead of me going, oh, I can't, I'm sorry guys, it's so hard. I go, okay, is there anything that I can adjust in my environment to make that a little bit, it's more time management. And if you can, you can. If you know that it's impossible, because you're already like, there's only so much capacity for us to have to stay organized and make things happen, then you just prioritize. Okay, well, what on this is a priority? Because this is, what isn't? And then you go from there. And then you get organized, and then you can have the state of gratitude, and then you will see things will start happening for you. Shit will start like smoothing out. Relationships will either go away or they will be healthy. A lot of my relationships went away. And like I said, that was not just like everybody else is the problem and I'm not. I know for certain people, I definitely was the problem as well. I needed healing, and I was really, really desperate for that. And when you're desperate for peace, and you're screaming for peace in your life, and people around you are still struggling a lot, and it's interfering with your health, you have to make those decisions. And I told my husband too, because he's got big goals, and he's really adjusting to like loving himself, like for real. I'm okay talking about it. Like I said, I tell him all the time. He's like, what'd you say about me? And I'm cool to talk about anything. And he is too, about me. If he's going to come on here at some point, when we have time. But he's going through a huge transformation, and I see changes in his environment. And I've told him, in terms of people, if you start getting more momentum with the things that you're doing, you might have friends that were supportive at first that aren't going to be. They're either going to just not show up for your stream, or they're going to start talking. I've seen it. Some of his friends were kind of doing that. Like, one friend came over, and we were barbecuing and stuff, and he was just like hating on him the whole time. Like, oh, it's a lot of work to do that. Just shit like that. I have no time. And it's not like, oh man, that's so much work, but that's cool. But just like, oh, what would you do all that for? I don't got time for that, and neither does he. So I refuse. Like, I saw this video. I think it was off of Cops. I get clips from Cops sometimes. And there was this woman, and she was a hoodoo mama. She had cascarilla on her face, and she had her like the Arabic incense holder. And the cops came over to her son had a warrant, right? And this bitch opened the door with the incense and the cascarilla, and she was like, who the fuck's disturbing my peace? And I felt that so much. She was like, I felt that to my core. I was like, bitch, I fucking am vibing with this woman. She had that smoke, and the cop was cool too. It was like a cool clip I saw. But she was like, who's disturbing my peace with her shit, like right out the door. I'm like, man, I'm gonna take that one and save it for my arsenal, because I don't like when motherfuckers start banging on my door asking for shit. But and that's kind of a problem here in Australia. There's a lot of like soliciting and stuff. People are just trying to make money. They're trying to sell whatever nonsense insurance, donated charity. They're just trying to make commissions, and it's like, you want to tell these poor suckers, look, you're never gonna get anywhere in this company. You should just quit right now and walk home and have a good day. Like, I really should start doing that. I might. Is that okay to do? It's not, huh? Like, people that go door to door sales, and they're like, oh, can we sell you a thing for your gas company? It's like, what? Look, it's not gonna work. You're gonna cold call 500 people today, and you're gonna get a bunch of rude people who are tired, and you're going to have 2 people that might be interested because you pressured them, and then that's going to be incentive for you to do it again tomorrow, and then you're going to be burnt out by the end of the week, and you're going to quit. Like these are all like pyramid scheme places. So the fuck's that have to do with being grateful? Well, I'm grateful I don't have that mindset, man. Like for real, it sucks. It super sucks seeing people struggle with that. Like that's the option they have. But I'm going to have to wrap this up soon. I want to kind of tie into that. We think the easier option is going to get us the best results, and we have been conditioned to accept shitty work as long as it's easy, with the plausibility of it being rewarding. You know what I mean? And most, if not all of these companies, you're going to just be doing the output of a lot of work and maybe a little bit, and they already expect that. They're not going to tell you that. They know the statistics because they've been doing this forever, and they've had people come in and out. So when you get out of that mindset of, well, what's the easiest way for me to make money? It's not. Marry a rich dude and put up with his shit. Everything. You listen, I ain't hating on anybody. I've had elders in my family say, you are freaking stupid if you marry a dude for love, marry him for money. And it's, I'm not saying to do that. But I don't care if people do at the same time, as long as people are cool with each other and you're not shady. It's none of my business. But you have to not have this mindset. We have this mindset of that, like, what's the least output for the maximum benefit? And then we wonder why we don't get to where we're going. And the thing is we're willing to do stuff we hate as long as it's kind of easy and approachable. But when it comes to our own goals, it's harder. It's so hard for me to set up this damn podcast. Like, I had so many obstacles with audio, with lighting, with my computer. I was waiting for a new hard drive, and things are really expensive. So I have to pace, where the money goes. And I depend on tips and stuff like that. And I was not doing TikTok for a while, so I can focus on this. So I lost that. All of these factors, but you're willing to put in the work, and at the end of it, it starts coming together. You've seen already my first video compared to now, and there's a huge difference. I'm still clumsy. I'm still banging shit around. The camera kind of goes out of focus, but I'm here. I'm not going to sit here and wait for the perfect moment to do it because it's convenient, and finally I got it down. I did a bunch of test runs. My husband helped me. It was really difficult. You think it's just a little podcast because this is big for me. And it's something that I can go to, and I can feel connected with other human beings outside of my environment, and I can learn and I can teach, and we can just do that. People come here, and I want you to feel comfortable and feel like it's a vibe, and I want to put more effort into it. And I've got all these things I think about for Kitchen Occultist and the Rook. I don't care about numbers. I don't care if I'm not where I need to be or anything like that. I'm just really hungry for this because it gives me purpose, and I feel aligned with myself, and I feel fucking grateful that I get to do cool stuff for a living. And I had to earn that. And people don't see that part too. Because for me, doing Demonology Incorporated with my restaurant stuff, I had to put 10 years of experience into my career to be able to do some of this, And homesteading, I wasn't a homesteader before. We became homesteaders because the economy was falling apart, and I'm glad that we did because we need it. But I learned so many skills being here in Australia. I learned about the different cuisine, and I learned about medicine from Aboriginals, and I learned how to homestead, and I learned about the ingredients that I worked with so consistently because I learned how to grow them from seed and watch the process of their evolution and know that at different stages they have different flavor profiles, all these things. So I am more of a chef now than I was working in kitchens because, first of all, I still am on my damn feet all day, and I'm still fast, and I keep up my knife skills, all this. I can sit here and have this negative mindset, right? Because chopping carrots and onion, I like to process veggies and freeze them in small bags and do all this stuff. I get an opportunity to work on my knife skills. My kids are learning. My 4-year-old loves to watch me chop vegetables, and he wants to so badly, but I have to figure that out because I see 2-year-olds on TikTok with big knives and shh. It's what's going on here? Everybody's just doing it too fast. So, but they're inspired, And as a parent, you can't eat that. My kids you can't do that. Don't do that. But you're just okay, these human beings with heartbeats and brains are learning, and they get to expand because you doing your shit and having a good mindset about it. I'm grateful. Things will work out in your life. I recommend making a list of things that you're grateful for and things that you're ungrateful for. And just keep it to you can burn it. You don't have to share it. A journal, your digital app. I have digital app for a journal on my phone, and then I have physical journals. For me, physical journals seem to work better because I feel like I'm in the moment. And I save digital journals when I'm like too busy to stop doing something. So it helps though. When you see the things that you're grateful for, the things that you're ungrateful for, then you can go, what can I fix from this? You can't fix other people. You might not, but can you fix your circumstances? Oh no, okay, well look at a lot of people who struggle being in poverty, struggle with depression, and they struggle with depression and their environment isn't what it should be. And that's a reality. That's not to hate on anybody. I don't have that struggle. If anything, I had to learn how to tone it down because I had so much anxiety and military trauma as a civilian child, that I would like literally seeing like a cup on my desk. This is from last night. I have to do things like that because I'll have anxiety, and I used to feel like I would get attacked if that was there, so I have empathy toward people who are on the opposite spectrum, because on my spectrum, everybody would think, man, this woman takes beautiful care of her home and her kids are all this and clean and that. It came from stress and anxiety, and I had to learn how to not do that anymore, because a sterile house that's anxiously cleaned feels unwelcome, and that's the last thing I would want for my family. So you have to, those energetic signatures, they last on your, like in your environment. But the things that you can fix, right, is cleaning a room or one drawer. If all you can do is one drawer, then that's what you can do, and you're going to feel good when that drawer's organized, right? You can also have a junk drawer. I love having a junk drawer in every house I've moved to, and I love having a junk drawer where there's like extra things and pens and batteries if you don't have small children, those things, you just put it in there. And then if you want to organize that junk drawer, you can. And you might just know how dysfunctional it is that it's functional for you. But you find these little things that you can change. If you say you can't, say, is it that you can't? Is it that you don't want to? Or is it that you don't feel like you can? There's a difference between can't and I really just don't feel like I can. But you know that it's possible, right? And we'll have this internal battle with ourselves. Oh, I can't fucking do it. You can. Some things you can't, but it's okay. If you can't, you can give it space. With peace and love, I cannot turn this into glass. Okay. But if I went like, oh, I fucking can't turn it into glass. There's no point, blah, 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 blah. You're going to give that energy. But if you go, yeah, you know what the situation is I can fill this up with water if I want, but I'm not going to be able to turn this into glass. But it's what I have right now. I'd like a glass bottle. But I'm going to fucking be cool with this one right now and take care of it. Because if it was a glass bottle, I'd take care of it. And that's how you start making those changes. It'll happen. It does. And you'll have things come into your environment, and it won't have to be designer brand where you paid full price, because paying full price makes you feel good. It's like people who are ultra wealthy are the cheapest people in the world, because a $500 shirt to a billionaire is nothing. You know what I mean? It's nothing. It's like us going to the thrift shop, or used to go to the thrift shop and get things cheap. Now it's like just as expensive as the damn department stores. Like, these people are losing their fucking minds. The Catholic Church is on it. I'm serious. The Pope needs to fucking chill out, because, look, you got enough. You got gem-encrusted Bibles and satin fucking pantuflas and, your Mercedes bulletproof Pope mobile. Can you at least make the thrift shops a little bit more reasonable, you asshole? Like, fuck, like, you already have all the world's ancient secrets in your little, I don't even know what to call the Vatican. What would you consider the Vatican besides like a collection of theft? Like, it's just crazy. I just spilled my water out. So anyways, I'm going to wrap it up, you guys. Thank you for joining me today when we're talking about gratitude. I really recommend writing those lists down. And when you focus on the negative, it might be ugly. Like, okay, I don't like this in my environment. I've got toxic friends or a toxic workplace or this and that. Figure out what you can change. Okay, I can't change my job right now because I got kids to feed or I got bills to pay. But can I eventually? I don't have to work there forever, right? So maybe not now, but maybe in a few months or maybe in 6 months, maybe I can make a plan and make an exit plan. You have to do the work. We're conditioned to think, no, we don't have to. It should just come and go. And it's a crazy system that they've got us twisted in. but it's easier said than done. I'm not this productive, organized person that loves journaling and it's got all these different color pens. I force myself to because I know that it works, and I love it because it works, so I have gratitude and I have a good energy toward it. Because when I started really doing, I've been journaling forever, but in terms of organization and having like 10 journals for different things, for the garden and for the podcast and for kitchen occultist and my gnosis and even D&D, I got a journal for everything. It's fucking seems stupid. It's like this bitch, but it really does help because I can write things down, scribble it out. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then I understand Amber so much more, but I also understand everything that I need in my life in order to make, I have a blueprint for things. And it's not like, okay, these unrealistic goals, you make a big list of all these goals that you're not going to achieve. You can do that and knock them out like for the year. There's a lot of ways that you can go about it, but it helps put you into the presence of gratitude. And every single successful person that I've listened to has journals and knows their numbers, knows how much they're spending on everything. And you can just check that once a day. That's it. And then you'll know, because I used to mindlessly spend too. I'd go to Starbucks every fucking day, and I would go shopping every payday, and I'd go to Target like twice a week, and I would end up spending like $200 instead of like 20. I did it in my 20s. That's who I was. Especially when I started to come into a little bit of money and make money. I wasn't too bad, but I justified it. I justified it for sure. It's like, well, it's and it is. It really is. But at the same time, it's not a healthy mindset to just mindlessly buy $200 worth of shit impulsively. It's not, unless you have that $200 for that reason. And it's like not a necessity in order for you to feel better. But it's like a rainy day thing is fine. It's fine. I tell my kids all the time. My son loves to shop. I said, man, you have your money. You're responsible with your finances. He saves his money. He's not impulsive. Teenagers have to have a little fun, like I understand that. But don't be like me, where I worked full time in high school and I blew it as soon as I got my check. I was gone. Like as soon I would get my little $600 check, and from Subway, I worked at Subway when I was like 14 to 16, almost 17. I was so stupid. Don't give a 14-year-old a bunch of money, because especially in the 90s when things were cheap, it was dumb. It was so stupid. I could have done so much better. So anyways, shoulda, coulda, woulda, but we're here now, and it's never too late. I don't feel like I'm getting too old to do any of this stuff, and if you're the same age or older, you're not. That's the thing too. I'm getting too old to do. You're not. You're really not. We've been lied to about that. All the boomers that are like fucking falling apart in their 50s and 60s is because of the system. Everybody else that's outside of this and outside of the mental paradigm that this shit has us in, or like living out in nature, they all live long lives and they all are healthy and they're able to do things. It's fascinating. There's a lot of channels like that where there's like lots of little grandmas and grandpas and they're farmers and they make things, and my little ones like those sorts of channels. They're very calm, and there's like nature and animals and stuff. Those people are the happiest people in the world. It's been like it's a statistic too. The happiest people are like farmers, not farmers for Monsanto or allegedly, or any other companies where they're just like locked into contracts and then they're sued and then they're forced into slave labor forever. That's what it is in America. Look into it if you're curious. People who are just self-sufficient and raising their families and have small communities. That's how we thrive. So anyways, write things down. Focus on the things that you can be grateful for, but really give yourself space and clear, and give yourself space to feel stupid too. Like, I don't want to do that. Give yourself space for that. It's going to be okay. But I promise, if you do this consistently, you'll just start to feel better. And even if you don't have all the magical things just dropping on your lap, you will feel better. I wake up feeling good. I don't wake up going, oh, fucking day. I wake up going, let's go. Let's go, motherfuckers. We got shit to do. And it's crazy because I have so much energy now, and I didn't because my mentality was worn down and just tired. So anyways, I hope you guys have a fabulous day, and thank you for all of the support on here. I will be working on the Instagram and the clips channels. It's really, really difficult for me to learn how to do shorts now for that and turn this into like 1-minute clips, but it's not for dumb reasons. People do need it in smaller doses, and I don't expect you guys to watch like an hour episode, X amount of times a week. So I am working on that for you guys, and thank you so much for all of your patience. So until next time, you guys take care, and I will talk to you next episode.